you guys want your life to be better, you need to stop being negative all the time. Like, you have to ask yourself, do you want to be in this same negative cycle that you're in all the time? Or do you want to actually get out of it and make your life become better? Hi everyone, my name is Tawanthia and this is the TiwiDiaries YouTube channel. So let's get right into it. So a couple of days ago, I actually asked a question to some people around me and I was like to them, what was something good that happened this week? Because like always whenever I meet someone, like we always say, oh, how are you, good, and blah blah blah, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna switch it up a bit. I'm gonna ask, something good that happened to them this week. And I got such negative answers. Oh, everything's bad, like there was nothing good, blah blah blah. And some people were just like very neutral, again, nothing happened, nothing good. And I was like, guys, why is everyone so negative? Like, you're telling me that you could not find one thing this week that you could be happy about? There's no way. There's actually no way. All it tells me is you lack gratitude. And people who are so negative like this always have something to complain about. And then they complain that their life is bad. But they don't realize that their complaining inherently makes their life bad. Whatever you put out into the world comes back to you. So if you're always saying these negative things over and over again, you're going to end up attracting that to you. No wonder your life is so bad. And you have to take things into a different perspective. Like, I feel like people these days, all they see is like the negatives in their life, and they don't actually realize how fortunate they are. You're so fortunate to even be watching this video. You have a device where you're able to watch this video. That in itself you should be so grateful for, because there are so many people out there who don't have that. And another thing that I hear people say is like, you can't diminish other people's problems, blah blah blah. I get that. People go through stuff. But when it's something where you're just negative all the time and you don't see anything good with your life, then it's a huge problem. And to be honest, I'm not trying to diminish other people's problems, but it's also like, yeah, there is actually much worse things that you can be going through. So knowing that, you should think to yourself, okay, if I'm going through this problem like right now, you can actually get out of it. You should think about, there are people who are suffering way more than me. So if I'm going through this issue, I can find a way out of it. Stop looking at just the problem itself and then instead find a solution. It's so simple, and it's so frustrating to me when people don't realize that they are actually living someone else's dream life. There are people out there who are just wanting to have the simple things like shelter and food and water. That's it. And you're sitting here telling me that you couldn't find one thing within your week that you could feel happy about, good about? It's absolutely ridiculous, and it really frustrated me. Because coming from a third world country, I've seen people who go through so much stuff, who don't have the basic necessities for life. And I see that, and I see people here just complaining about their jobs, their, coming to work every day, or, just small problems in their life, or maybe they're not even problems, but they make it out to be problems. And I'm like, there are people out there who don't even have the basic necessities. And you're taking it for granted. Like, why can't you just sit there and be grateful? I feel like people these days really need to get a grip. Now, let me explain to you why I think people are really negative nowadays. One of the biggest things is definitely consuming negative things on social media and comparison. So when it comes to social media, people are finding Instagram videos where, they're, giving a negative message, or, someone who's complaining about their life again, and that can really affect your subconscious mind. And so because of that, you end up in this negative cycle because that's what you surround yourself with, that's what you listen to often. And then the other side is the comparing. So seeing people who have more than you, you know, a better lifestyle or the lifestyle you know, dream of, you see that and you look at your life and you're like, oh, like, you know, I don't have that, so my life is so bad. But it's like, well, what? Honestly, do the opposite. Look at the people who don't have as much as you do and think to yourself, oh, actually, no, like, I should be grateful for the things I have. I'm not trying to put down people who have less than you, but it's about noticing the fact that, okay, my life is not as bad as I make it out to be, you know? And another thing I'll say is, if you are comparing yourself to people, you know, who have, you know, more than you, and you're sitting here complaining and being negative about it, it's like, don't you realize that you can also achieve what they achieved? Why can't it be you? Why do you make it out to be like you can't achieve what they've achieved? Just remember that comparison is seriously the thief of joy. You guys need to understand that there is no point in comparing your life. And the reason why I even give the example of, oh, okay, like maybe look at someone who has less than you and to be grateful. Like, I don't even want to promote that, but it's like some people just clearly need it because or else they just don't see any way to feel gratitude, which honestly is ridiculous in itself. But if that's what gets you started to feel gratitude, I'd rather you do that than you sit in your misery. Because, like, look, we all have problems, and of course, you know, talk about them with your friends, and, you know, if that will help the situation. If you're just sitting there and complaining and not trying to find a solution though, just keep your mouth shut at that point, because it's not going to go anywhere. Like, I think there's literally no point if you're not going to take action. So just sit there with your problem if you're not going to do anything. Another reason why people are so negative these days, I reckon, is because they surround themselves with negative people. So what I'm getting at here is it's really about who you're exposed to that changes your mindset, right? In my previous video, I told you guys about how I had a group of friends and we were all very negative. We put ourselves down. It almost used to be a competition of who can put themselves down the most. And that influences your mindset. It changes the way you think. It makes you into such a negative person. And you don't want to become that, because you're going to stay stagnant or you're just going to go downhill. Your mental health gets seriously affected when you're surrounded by people like this. This is why I'm trying to push you guys to be aware of this. You guys have to understand that, you know, even though someone might be your closest friend, if they are dragging you down, they are not for you, especially if you want to become better. If this person doesn't want to become better and they still want to stay in their stagnant position, let them. You need to grow. It's as simple as that. I need you to understand, for example, if you're a very negative person and you feel that you are being a very negative person around people, if you care about the people around you, you're going to change your mindset, because this negativity directly affects the people you love. Okay? When you're being this very, very negative person, this affects other people's moods as well. This affects their energy levels as well. As someone who was definitely surrounded by people who were so negative all the time, it seriously impacted my mental health. Okay, it impacted the way I performed in my studies, the way I, you know, communicated with people. I would always be complaining. And then, you know, when I cut these people off, I realized that actually wasn't myself. That wasn't myself. And what's unfortunate is I was also being that drainer in the past. I was also draining people's energy by complaining all the time and being negative all the time. But it's like, now I look at everything that I have around me and I have so much to be grateful for. And I'm also grateful for the things that are going to come to me as well, because I know they're coming. You know, when I changed to that positive mindset, I started attracting people better people and better opportunities, and also just glowed up physically too. And even the way I spoke changed. And I don't radiate that negativity as much as I used to. Of course, I have bad days. I'm not saying you guys can't have bad. You guys are going to have bad days. Okay? And that's okay. But I'm talking about these people who are constantly on this negative cycle and don't want to break out of it. And then they, you know, latch on to other people to get their energy, or they also just radiate that negativity to other people. It's like, stop being that person. Seriously, if you want to be better, stop. Replace them with grateful thoughts, positive thoughts. Like, I'll give you guys the example of what happened to me the other day, where, you know, when I did ask these questions to, you know, the people I was talking to, I felt my energy draining just from their answers. And I was like, obviously I have stuff to work on to help me protect my energy, but it's like, I was like, whoa, like these people just made me feel like shit. And you know, people shouldn't have that power over me, but at the end of the day, if that's what I was surrounded with for most of the day, that's going to affect me. That's going to affect my energy levels. So I don't want that. I really don't want that. So, you know, people like that, I probably won't make them close people in my lives, because I've worked so hard to change this mindset of mine that I don't want anyone else to affect it. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys got something out of it. And if any of you guys are in this really negative mindset, I hope you guys learn to change that. And it's not going to be a steady process. There's going to be times where you slip up, and that is okay. That is okay. But as long as you're trying, that's all we want. Okay? All right. Bye.